Let's discuss all things social media this week with Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast, who joins us now live. Looks like you're in quarantine there. Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. We should not joke about these things, but you know my sense of humor. If we can't go there, we go there. Let's talk about becoming an expert in your field and real ways that you can use social media to get your point across.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of people are reluctant to create content because firstly they are unsure what they could, actually create content about. But they see it as they don't have enough time because they're running a business, which is, fair enough. But there are some ways to do it that you can take that make it much easier to do that. So one example is, say, Gary Vee came out last year with this amazing slide deck. I mean, he's a content machine, like him and his team. So of course, we're not talking about doing that, but it's the approach that he took. So it's called How to Create 64 Pieces of Content in a Day. So we're not talking about doing that, but it's the approach of creating long form content. So for example, maybe doing an interview with someone or talking about something in a video to say, 10 to 15 minutes. And then you can use that and repurpose it for so many different things. So you can take little snippets out of that video to share on other platforms to suit each platform. You could pull quotes out and create sort of graphics of quotes.
Well, it's exactly what we do here at Ticker, to be honest. Like, we put a 1 hour show together, but the idea is that it's a 1 hour show made up of interviews and little clips and little bits and pieces and grabs and moments that work across social media, because we knew when setting up Ticker that people don't watch long form content the way we all grew up watching it. We watch it when we can, where we can, where we see it. It's kind of stuff that pops up in your feed more so than things that you actually search for. But if you get enough of the good content, people will follow you and actually search for you every day or try and watch your
absolutely
content. Yeah.
And I mean, the long form stuff, it's perfect place is YouTube. You can still put it on YouTube because it's more acceptable to have sort of longer stuff there. And then, so what I'll do is when you post this interview, I will put the link to that slide deck on there so people can have a look to see how it's actually done. So there's things like that. There's also, for example, if you go to an industry event, don't just post, I went to this industry event. So people are like, yeah, great, whatever, So instead, 3 key things you took away from that event and share those, because that adds value to people. It shows that you're, you're at and learning, and it helps people who can't go.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is you could do some interviews. I mean, every phone these days is a video camera, and you can actually go along and do just a couple of 1 minute interviews with people and stitch them up together or put them out, the best people, the things that you found the most interesting there as well. I find that a lot of people say, I just don't have time, but you have to make time for it. It's a bit like exercise, isn't it? I look at the social media stuff and writing blogs and things like that, and the behind the scenes stuff that goes really well on social media and on your website. If you don't find time for it, then you're not going to get anywhere. It's a bit like training for a marathon, but just running what you usually do or doing your usual walk. You're never going to get to that marathon, right?
That's right, and there are actually services to help you. You don't need all of these skills, really. Like, there are like virtual assistants who really are not that expensive, who can do things like editing of video and really, if you're speaking on camera and you have that transcribed, like there's lots of content there that you can actually then repurpose. So it doesn't take a lot, and once you work out your processes, the hardest part is setting up those processes to produce the content. But once you have those sorted, it becomes much, much easier to do that.
Are you surprised that people find it so hard in terms of that? Because writing a blog about your industry things, I did one a couple of weeks ago actually talking about how the media really does need to decentralize out of Sydney and out of these kind of corporate offices and to use their local presence to get out there. And it's been one of the most read things I've ever actually written in my entire career. It's gone everywhere because it's choosing a moment. I didn't do it deliberately. It was just me sitting and consuming so many articles about how the media is in such a bad shape. It was earnings season, so we're hearing from 7 and 9. And yesterday, the tragic news that AAP will be coming to an end because that isn't working either. And you just start to think about, well, why? And as someone who's now runs a business but has worked for businesses, I'm not an expert probably, but I have enough expertise to be able to jot some thoughts down and ask other people, what do you think? And that's all you really have to do. And because I don't have to research the topic, because I know the topic, it only really took me 15 minutes to bash out.
Yeah. And I mean, another way to do that, if you don't have time to create that blog post, is set up a Google Alerts with keywords relating to your industry, and you can set it up so at the end of every day you'll receive an email with the headlines of the latest news that you can click through to. And so you can share that, but it provides your commentary on that as well, because that shows that you're on top of what's going on, but also that you have a voice and you're an expert in that area too. And also ask people to share their thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, very good. All right, we'll leave it there for this week. Dr. Karen Sutherland, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you.